What's good YouTube, and welcome to the house. Pre-sale reviews. So everybody this morning was freaking out. I get messages like, should I get this now? Do you think it's going to get more hype? With TCG player prices on pre-sales. I love TCG player. I have an incentive to tell you to use my TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra. Support the channel directly for the cards you already be buying. But when it comes to pre-sales over here, I always tell you guys to wait for tier 0 because it keeps the sellers over here more honest. It reels them in, and tier 0 tends to actually list more throughout the day, not really jacking up prices. And when we look at pre-sales here, the two front runners on TCG player, and as well as tier 0, they have their prices up, are the generic spell cards rather than the Dogmatica, but the Dogmaticas are also all put at extremely high prices. Now, I will say this, as I often do with pre-sales, not everything can stay money. But let's compare some prices real quick though. We see the two front ones. I think Triple Tactical Talents definitely has the most ability to be overhyped in the pre-sale range, and I would personally stay away, but a lot of us also said that about Lightning Storm, and look how that turned out with everybody grabbing 3. We thought it might go down towards 60. No, it was just up there from stonks. We see tier 0 starting out at $88 versus the 98 over here, and you can use code WhatsGood5 also to support the channel, but get yourself 5% off of these already lower prices. But again, I would stay away from Triple Tactical Talents right now. Forbidden Droplet at 75. This is maybe the winner of the set, depending on how metagames perform. This card is relatively darn nice as an option. Now, we look through here and we see Nadir Servant is at 56. They warned me that this would be the one card they felt they wouldn't be the most competitive on. But when we look at TCG player, actually, Nadir Servant is right around there. So after the 5% code, it's about the same. Maximus and Fleur de Lis over here for the Dogmaticas also high in price, and then surprise, because there's 5 freaking secret rares for them, they pretty much take all the slots up till we get to the Synchro level 8 generic good Chaos Boy. Now, looking through prices here, they're all pretty much lower, but with the Dogmatica, I only think there's going to be, like there often is with the archetypes, 2 cards or 1 card that is a winner that stays high in price, and everything else tends to fall out. Even though everything is good in the secret rare slot, they're going to need them to play the deck. Typically, only 1 to 2 cards rise up from this point, and the rest fall down. So kind of make your calls on what those are. I think with the forewarning from tier 0 that they felt it was this one, that's one to look at, but make your own decision on that. That's all. There's no telling which one it turns out to be, especially with short printing not being a thing in core sets. Also, remember the new ratios, 10 secret rares, meaning a case will not have a playset of everything, even mathematically. So that's, you know, when we're talking about that ratio, I should extrapolate a little. You have 10 different secret rares in the set now, and a whole case, 12 boxes, has 2 secrets per box. That means you're only looking at 24 total secret rares pulled, and it would take 30 total to have a playset of everything. We no longer can hit that. So again, even with those less things being there, I think that only a couple of Dogmatica stuff will stay up and the rest will start to fall out. That just tends to happen. Now, looking at trends from history, the rest of the stuff typically won't be that much money either, and we're seeing Revolution Dragon at 25. A lot of people speculate that'll go 12 to 10. Trip certainly likes that card a lot, and it is a long-awaited one. And then in the ultra rares, the Noble Knights are commanding pretty big prices early. Ultra rares haven't been money for a while, but ultras are also harder to get by the new ratios because we bumped up the amounts in the sets from 10 to 14, meaning you're barely pulling mathematically a play set of each if everything goes right within a full case as well. So while people will be hunting down the Dogmatica stuff, they will be hunting down Starlights when they're going for full cases, and the Inferno Knights could be cheaper at first. I could see this being something that was extremely hyped coming into the set. A lot of people thought it would be set at high rarities, and this is something that could bottom out and then go up from there. But early on, I'm really liking the fact that that ended up for the players looking for that, and it's pretty affordable. And the rest of the set, man, Shadol's Schism here, actually at $5. That's a card a lot of people are looking forward to. The ultra rares from Echo, they weren't really worth a whole ton of money, and we see that the secret rares being top heavy, the Starlights help that. It does look like tier 0 is taking that approach, making a ton of them super affordable out the gate and not trying to just chase after every dollar they can. Let's see how TCG Player is. I actually haven't looked at the second or third page. Live reaction. We see, let's see here, more Dogmatica. The Infernoble Knights are up above the prices. I would stay away from Adamantipator Friends. I think that card is not going to be played in that deck that much. Rika Queen is something that people are looking forward to that I've heard, but in the Ultra slot again, I would just go ahead and get it cheaper. The Gizmek, I don't think that many people are looking forward to either. Decent card. And yeah, the Shadol card, somewhat competitive over here too. So we do see more reasonable things from TCG Player in the past. Maybe thanks to Tier 0, but overall the prices are just being beat, and they will be refreshing stock throughout the day. Let's even see if it's all still here. I've just loaded everything, so people paying attention might have bought a couple things. No, everything's still here. So again, I don't envy anybody having to price out this set, but here we are. These are the prices early, and in my opinion, yes, a lot of things are high, but you're gonna have a couple winners with pre-sales even when it's like this. Alright, I just put this up for the meme. Rainbow Dragon Chaos Neos Misprint. This is the rare one. 6942069. Nice. I really like the memes that happen in this community. It's not even a vintage values thing. Like, people are just listing up here for the freaking memes. You have Best of Brooklyn 6969696. Like, it's just straight up memes at this point. But realistically, like I said with the collector community right now, you can have the cash. You can be sane, and you can't find a card for a decent price sometimes, and this is one of those examples. Elder Entity, baby, was up towards $8 earlier today, already falling back down towards $5. It's very, very, like, so many people have this in high quantities because it's a Megaton promo, so it's very hard to say it would stay around this price. I think it'll fall more towards maybe 2, but a lot of people, as they prepare for Dogmatica, they're getting ready to play that deck. They are picking up their copies of this, and also Fossil Warrior Skull Knight is an option for that deck. It's a little more of a one of because it's once per turn, but to be fair, instead of it being immediately on the send, you can kind of do your timing because you banish this card from the graveyard to target a monster on the field and destroy it, where this is on send. So, like, this also opens itself up to DD Crow within the metagame, which would be a straight plus because you're sending it from the extra deck anyways. But you also have the timing to decide when to force your opponent's stuff, and options like that are nice as well. So I do understand this being super short in the set, keeping its price like it is, especially seeing the hype over here. Speaking of Noble Knights being cheap, Fireflint Lady has really high sales rates, and it's been getting less and less total quantities on the market. This is something at $1 I would consider grabbing sooner than later, as we're seeing Rise start to hype certain decks. The other pieces are things you want to have access to, and at just $1, you only have yourself to blame if you don't get this sooner than later, for real. And let's actually dig back into the collector market a little more with an interesting question from my inbox. Somebody hit me up about grading a Prismatic, or Starlight, my bad, I still say Prismatic sometimes, Starlight Rare Effect Veiler, and if it was worth it. And I said, if you think it's a 10, that's pretty much the only way, because a 9 for PSA is like, you're kind of breaking even. You're just declaring this card as pretty minty. But with Beckett, it's actually a higher level of grading, and seeing auctions like this with 2 days left, 760 first edition secret rare, no misprint, no nothing, just crazy up there. BGS is kind of what you want to see when grading, because it tells you exactly where the issues or non-issues thereof are, and a 9.5 is better than a PSA 10. I will stand by that. So when we're looking at these gradings, like, this is interesting to see even odd-off MRD cards like this starting to skyrocket really hard in auction format, not just buy it now. I really look forward to seeing how this ends. But to the question of is it worth grading something like a Starlight Veiler? I would think, to the right buyer, a Starlight PSA 10 or something like that would be $1,000 for Veiler being the top of its set. Knowing it's gem mint, in case they're looking at a long-term investment, I think you could find several buyers in that price range. So grading your Veiler, it only turns out that way if there's no scratches on the back. The centering is good. Like, you have to look at all of these zones, the edges, and know that it is perfection for the most part, or pretty darn good. And getting a 9 you're probably getting the same price you would if you just put it in a sleeve and top loader and shipped it out, I would think. So with Starlight Rares, only a couple I would think are worth grading, but old cards, if you got mint old cards, now is really the time to look at that market and start thinking about it. I have a couple of Jump Blue Eyes I'm considering sending in to see how that goes, but definitely look around the collector's market. There's crazy things going on here, and you guys have been bugging me to, you know, cover that a little more. I think we'll be going more of a deep dive on the collector's market sooner than later. Thank you guys so much for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy these more general discussions, whether it be on pre-sales and taking a look at initial reactions to kind of touching on the collector's market. And man, I just, Rise being shorted on the distro level to where all the stores aren't getting as much as they want. Speaking about Starlights, think about getting those sooner than later, especially for the ones that you might want.